All right, welcome everyone. We're here to have a brief conversation to kick off the topic of the big picture of Snack Bar. What is the big picture? For me, it's fundamentally about two things. Number one, save life on Earth, full stop. All of complex life is threatened between abrupt climate change, destruction of the biosphere, coronavirus, and everything else. And the second is to transform life on Earth to something that fulfills on our mission of why we are here. Now, to fulfill on our mission of why we're here, we first have to figure out why we're here, unless someone has the answer. But that, and actually, for me, the first objective of saving life on Earth, that's a big part of why we're here. Up until now, we've been a very destructive species, and we continue to destroy. We have an opportunity to transform ourselves into a caretaker species that cares for each other as well as all of our brother and sister species, all of life on Earth. What do y'all think about that?
I'm all for saving all life on Earth. And, there's a multitude of problems that are associated with trying to do that, and we're going to have to overcome these one by one and discuss together as a collective, collective of concerned people, and direct our energies in achieving success in solving these problems one by one, if need be. We're going to map it out. We got hunger to deal with, corona, the climate. There's so many things to deal with. It's like it can be overwhelming, but we should find strength in knowing that we're not alone. And as people come together, we realize that we can come to that realization. Well, I'm not alone. There's somebody else who feels like I do, and through our creative efforts, maybe we could provide inspiration to people who come up with better ideas than what any one of us could have. The next step is action.
And the first step is conversation, aimed at coming up with the solutions. And the next step after that is action. But the conversation, we need a lot of conversations, and we need a lot of people having a lot of conversations on a lot of different topics, so that, as Emery, as you said, we can solve all of our problems. You said one at a time if necessary, or perhaps we can come up with a set of solutions that we can implement in parallel and solve all of our problems in parallel. I mean, why not? Yes, James.
Yeah, and exactly, and it starts with one at a time as well, because it's a chance for one of us at a time to, because every one of us individually, worldwide, we all have different problems facing us individually in our different societies and places where we live. So to what each of us, we all have faced different crises in a sense, but all of those crises are connected. So there, as Emery said, you don't have to feel alone, because you have somewhere where you can explain your crisis and ask why is it happening and what can you do to help about it, or is there somebody there to help you solve that problem? So that is what the collect one story at a time is how these conversations come together anyway. When there's millions of conversations, it becomes not just one story at a time, but millions of stories at a time within conversations, and all of them with the same goal at working on how to solve those problems. And everybody will come for their own individual reason. And as time goes, it will grow in that way.
Beautiful, James. Thank you.
Living in a society, there's so many volunteers. We need volunteers. You know, we need a multitude of volunteers.
You know, what's fascinating is more and more volunteers are turning up every day, in that conversations like this are popping up all over the internet, right? But the thing is, we don't know about each other. None of us knows about all the other groups that are popping up out there, because there is no central place to post, hey, we're having this conversation on this day and time, and it's open to all solutionaries to join. You know, there's no central place for that. And we think there ought to be. And I mean, it can be decentralized, but you get what I'm saying. One place where you can reliably go to access all of the conversations that are fundamentally about saving life on Earth and global transformation. And we're doing our part by launching and giving to the world Snack Bar. SNAC, S-N-A-C, stands for the Social Network of Actual Conversations. Actual conversations about things that matter, like saving life on Earth. I mean, if saving life on Earth doesn't matter, then nothing matters. Saving life on Earth, as far as I'm concerned, is our #1 priority right now. We can figure out everything else later, but let's first save life on Earth, because if we don't have life, then everything else is moot, right? So, all right, well, let's take a quick look at the big picture of the topic map that we've been developing. This is just our current version of the topic map. It'll undoubtedly expand, but this topic map tells the big picture in the following way. You see how there's 5 horizontal layers here. The left column indicates what each layer is. At the bottom, we've got root causes of our problems. We've got 2 layers of problems, which I separated into chronic world problems versus acute world problems. For all of these problems, we need solutions. And in order to generate all the solutions that we need a solution engine. If solutions are represented by golden eggs, we need the goose that lays the golden eggs. And for us, the goose that lays the golden eggs is nothing less than collective superintelligence, or CSI. And that's it in a nutshell. So now let's look at the different layers one by one. What are the root causes of our problems? You know, we could look at our evolutionary history. We could look at the agricultural revolution, which really separated us from nature, and I think put us in a really dark place. This led to a number of world problems that have become chronic over the last several centuries, one of which is overpopulation. When we were a part of nature, we numbered around 10 million. Now we're pushing 10 billion. So we're about 1,000x overpopulated. And we're like, too many rats crammed in a tight cage, where the name of the game is hoard as much of the cage as you can for yourself. And this has all led to a disastrous combination of politics, economics, and living arrangements for humanity. Basically, we're destroying the world. We're destroying life on Earth at a horrific rate. And this whole set of rules is horrible on its own. And then there are whole segments of society that don't even play by those rules, including governments, including the CIA, including criminal drug cartels, etc. So anyway, these are among our chronic problems. Meanwhile, we've got some really acute problems: world hunger, both chronic and acute. And there's absolutely no excuse for this anymore. And there hasn't been since, essentially since World War II, and certainly before as well. But bottom line, absolutely no excuse. We produce more than enough food. We're feeding most of the food to animals so that we can, get 1 calorie of beef out of 20 calories that went into the cow. So anyway, world hunger, destruction of and to raise all these cattle and other livestock, we're destroying the biosphere. We've got the coronavirus. We've got exponential planetary overheating, which is now even in higher gear because of the loss of global dimming, thanks to the coronavirus, which is driving us toward the brink of economic collapse. So we got some fairly serious acute problems, and that's just the beginning. All right, what do we need to solve these problems? Well, look, if politics and economics are a huge part of the problem, and they certainly are, we need economic and political transformation. If killing animals and raising livestock is a huge part of the problem, we need to go vegan. And in a world where all of this stuff that I've just named, where all these bad things are acceptable, it means we've got a really screwed up story. Basically, we've got a story that you need to get out there and do what you can to survive, or you will die. And, or variations on that theme are, if you want to have attract a good mate, you have to go out there and get your piece of the pie. But basically, if you want to be anyone or do anything fun, you've got to go out and get your piece of the pie. You've got to hoard, right? So we've got a story of hoard to survive and hoard to thrive, but the bottom line is hoard. What if we created a new story where we became a caretaker species that was not about slicing up and dicing the earth and chopping down every tree and slash and burn to be able to raise more livestock to grow our population even more? What if as a caretaker species, we were all about lightening our footprint massively and actually going out of our way to heal the planet, heal life on Earth, heal ecosystems, cool the planet through solar radiation management, eradicate the coronavirus? All right, all this is a tall order. All of these transformations are really, really big, and some are going to, cost a lot of resource, a lot of money. And what's really kind of fascinating is we kind of need to do all of these simultaneously. So fragile is our remaining web of life that if we do not come at these really big problems with really big solutions, we're not going to survive. We're not going to make it, and complex life on Earth will not make it. So finally, the final layer is the top layer. To generate all these solutions, we need superintelligence, some form of superintelligence. And there's really 2 options: strong AI and collective human superintelligence. The latter are really our only option at this point, since strong AI does not exist yet. And with collective superintelligence, we essentially, so just imagine that if this is our starting topic map, that surrounding each of these topics and in between each pair of topics, and even like in the middle of these 4 different topics, imagine there's lots of different dots representing conversations, right? So this becomes a map of all these different conversations. Collective superintelligence is about fostering the development of a vast and growing network of actual conversations about all these problems and all these solutions and exactly what it's going to take and the strategy to get us to where we want to go. And it involves, for everyone who chooses to participate, broadcasting, recording, and transcribing all of those conversations, and making them searchable so that the world can find those, so every person in the world can easily find those conversations that they want to participate in, jump in, and contribute. And we need all hands on deck here. So we're going to be talking about, I've mentioned the urgency and criticality of CSI, collective superintelligence. I've talked a little bit about what it is. We're going to delve more into both those topics, as well as the strategy or the journey to CSI. How do we get there from here, right? And with CSI as our solution engine, we will generate all these solutions and thousands, millions more, literally. You should consider planetary scale, all the way down to local, very local scale. And we will solve our problems. And that, for me, is the big picture. Any other comments while I've got this topic map up there, this starter topic map?
Samri here. Yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's a great start. And here at the block party at collective intelligence, it's a perfect venue. It's a perfect platform, and it's a perfect setting where we could come together in a live setting where we can all participate and actually have the conversation, which will lead us to each a different path, perhaps of expertise. Each of us have our strengths and different abilities to bring to the table here, and we can we can find that out here at the party, at the platform. And I think it's just gonna blossom into very wonderful results.
Exactly, and I also I agree there, Emery, because everybody has, as you said, their different facets to bring to these little individual conversations. But the beauty of this platform as well is that it shows, it gives you the instant menu for all the different conversations. And admittedly, there are conversations about problems that we face, especially these chronic problems, world problems that we face, and to anybody just looking at the problems that are listed, they of course they're going to seem like they're insurmountable problems, that they're impossible to achieve. But the beauty is that once they start to tune in on the little conversations that are happening on their own facets, they start to realize that these are all connected and that these are all the way to solving those chronic problems. They'll then start to see. It's instantaneously, once you get into this, automatically, once you get into this collective conversation, and these conversations that we do have, it's instantaneous. You automatically see it, that it works.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Great comments, everyone. So, that's the big picture. And we will be delving into each of the topics below and repeatedly reviewing each topic, expanding upon it, and then building out. Once we've kind of got a good firm grasp on all the main pillar topics, we're going to branch out from there into myriad other topics that are related. I mean, ultimately, this network of conversations must span, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of relevant topics, and come up with huge numbers of solutions. There are the big planetary solutions, but even those need to be broken down into their parts. And we need this vast, hyper-connected network of conversations and people to make global sense out of the whole of it. All of our problems, all the solutions that we need, what it's going to take to develop each solution, and what do we need to do step by step. What is the plan? What is the plan to get from where we are to where we want to be? And where do we want to be? And that gets back to the fundamental question of who are we and why are we here? And again, step one, even if we don't know why we're here completely, step one is obvious. We need to save life on Earth. And to do that, we need to have all these conversations, including the conversation of who we are and why we're here. So we need all hands on deck. So please come join us. Join the conversation, join the network of conversations, join the social network of actual conversations, and together we can save life on Earth. Let's do it. What's the alternative? Not a very pretty picture.
Let's do it. Join us. Save life.
As you said, what is the alternative?
Rigo, great to see you, buddy.
All right, guys, you guys have a great one.
Indeed. What is the alternative? To not save life on Earth? It's now blatantly obvious to everyone that life on Earth is under threat. Okay? Even a few months ago, it wasn't blatantly obvious to everyone. Now it's blatantly obvious to everyone. The only question is, what are we going to do about it? I say we come together and figure this thing out collectively. And then take action collectively. But the first step is to come together and have these conversations. So we need a vast planetary network of conversations. What kind of conversations? Actual conversations about things that matter, like all of this.
Yeah, it's no time. It's no time to kick the can down the road. That's for sure. You know? And how far you can kick the can down the road, that's not gonna not gonna matter, you know. We gotta take it, do it now. You know, the sooner we do it, the more chances we have to succeed. No more kicking the can down the road.
Totally agree. Totally agree. All right. Is there more to say about the big picture? All right. Well, everyone, thank you for watching, and everyone, thank you for participating, and we'll see you here at the snack bar. Join us. Thanks, everyone. Blessings.